All right, welcome everybody. We are back at the closing table. We are a week away from Christmas, and we're ready to get back into it. Ben, it's great to see you. Glad to be here with you. Welcome. We are presented by New Leaf Home Inspections. They are North Carolina's most trusted home inspectors. Let's get into the grind. All right, let's go. Something new, Ben. Welcome. Decision fatigue is real this time of year. We got about 2.5 weeks left in the year. How you feeling with your decision fatigue? What are you tired of? What are you pushing through right now?
I'm pushing through the final push through with Christmas. We've had a lot going on. We moved office locations to a beautiful new space, a couple miles down the road from where we were. For business office space, and then personally, I'm moving houses. So I'm just in move mode, and I'm ready for it to be over. And I associate that with all the hustle and bustle with Christmas and New Year's and all that stuff. But, we're hanging in there at, you got to put one foot in front of the next and just get it done,
I hear you, brother. That's a tough time of year to be doing a lot of things at one time. I mean, you really piled it all in. But, hey, nothing like lumping it together to get it over with, right? Just knock it out.
Just get it over with. But I have moving fatigue more than end of the year fatigue, I guess I should say.
What I can understand, now you got to figure out where to put everything. That's decision fatigue enough, just where everything goes. You got to box it up, then you got to unbox it. Moving is never fun. We know a lot of people who have to move in this industry. I'm glad that I've been in my house for 11 years. I don't think I'm going anywhere for a while. I am nice here. I don't want to unpack or have to repack or do anything again. That sounds like a terrible decision I have to make. I don't have fatigue on that one because that one's settled.
Well, that's a good thing.
They do say that people reduce their decision making 30 to 40% around this time of the year. So it sounds like people are just checked out. Hopefully they've bought their presents, they've made their travel plans. Now they're just going to kind of get there and veg out. So.
Yeah, no, more power to them. I look forward to that flexibility and comfort, if you will, after I get the move done. I got movers coming tomorrow. And I'll be glad to get this over with for sure. So I've got fatigue. It's just, not necessarily associated with December or the end of the year. It's just moving,
Great time to do it. Well, good for you. I hope you get settled soon. Let's move on to your approved. I got a big approval on this one, but I want your take. Philip Rivers, 44 years old. A week ago, he was just a retired grandpa. At the beginning of the last week, they called him up and invited him to come try out for the practice squad. Lo and behold, he starts on Sunday at Seattle, historically really tough place to play. Gets the Colts all the way down the field. They kick a field goal, take the lead with 47 seconds left. Fortunately, the defense blows it. But what do you think about this whole thing? Because it really, the talking heads have been all over the place.
I love it because Philip Rivers went out and he played a very good game. At 44, I'm 43. I'll be 44 in March, and I couldn't imagine stepping out on a football field, let alone an NFL football field, and trying to do what he did. And the fact of the matter is, he played a good game. The Colts offensive line did a very nice job of protecting him, and I was very happy about it. The thing that I feel extremely gratified about with his performance is how stupid he made those talking heads at ESPN look. They sat there, yeah. Cam Newton saying, "Oh, they should have called me. How dare they?" Cam, you would have got blown out. I'm sorry, Cam Newton. You'd have got blown off the football field. We've all seen your resurgence and your comeback attempt, and it was awful. Yeah. I was there to witness it firsthand as a Panthers season ticket holder. It was awful. So, I just love to see guys that get counted out or kind of left behind, if you will, and dogged on before they've even had a chance to suit up. I love seeing guys like that prove themselves. And Philip Rivers is a winner. And I think the most important thing about Philip, he's a competitor. 44 years old, man, getting out there doing what he did, I thought it was incredible. How about you?
Well, obviously I'm biased because I was in college when Philip Rivers was in college. I got to experience him firsthand, followed his career the whole time with the Chargers and then the Colts. And I mean, he's just a first-class guy. I actually got to meet him when he got inducted into the North Carolina State Athletics Hall of Fame last year, and just a super nice guy. But it was really exciting just to see the whole week kind of play out. I really never had any doubts. I mean, I thought they didn't overutilize him. I think they probably could have let him stretch the field a little bit more, but given how good Seattle's defense is, I think they just tried to control the game and keep the scoring low to see if they could eke one out. Not a terrible plan. I think that they were way too conservative on that last drive. I think they should have really tried to pick up a first down on that third down instead of just running the ball one more time to set up the field goal, which ultimately gave Seattle too much time. But, it is what it is. I think their schedule's favorable the rest of the year, and hopefully they can eke out 2 or 3 wins and get in the playoffs. And then, hey, who knows what can happen in the playoffs, right? Playoffs. So let's get in there. Let's see what can happen. But, I mean, I was really excited. One of my favorite things he said was, people were like, well, you're too slow. And he said, well, I never outran anyone anyways. So you know what you're getting. He's a pocket quarterback. He's a thinking quarterback. So I thought it was fun, and I hope I get to actually watch more of the game this week, because I didn't have a chance to watch the whole game. We were listening. We had family Christmas dinner, but we were listening to it while we were there. Let's keep it moving. So on the hunt, this topic, the last couple of weeks, we've talked about what people are looking to buy, like for Christmas presents, et cetera. Really not talking about that today. Not so much a physical thing, but maybe a mental space. We touched on it a little bit earlier, but I think right now people are really just looking for calm. We're getting to that point of the year where hopefully we have a chance, hopefully you will after you get moved and unpacked, to kind of sit and reflect on all of our accomplishments for this year. Maybe for us personally, all the people we've been fortunate enough to help. As parents, our kids, and the great things that they're doing and just how they're coming along and maturing, and a lot to be proud of there. Our other personal relationships that have developed and, are coming along really good. That's a lot to reflect on. And that's one thing that I try to do every time, or this time every year, and then think about goals for next year. One thing we'll be doing with our team tomorrow on our weekly call is setting our goals for 2026. So I'm really in a big reflective but also looking forward mode right now. That's what I'm hunting for, kind of reflection and purpose. How about you?
I'm not so much on reflection. I'm on what are we going to do to make 2026 the best it's going to be? Whether you call that goal setting or just intention. I try to be intentional when I look at my business and when I look at what I want out of 2026 for the mortgage industry and the housing industry as a whole. So I've been in build mode. I've been in grind mode, and just really trying to set myself up for success in 26. And that work starts really in October. If we're being honest with ourselves, I think you've got to go ahead and formulate those game plans, get that stuff in motion in October to execute for the first quarter of 2026. So, I'm on the hunt, and I'm on the hunt for some good consistent business this year. What I mean by consistency is, it seems to me the last couple of years there's been some peaks and valleys. You know what I mean? We get real busy for a couple of weeks, then it tapers off for a couple of weeks. I'd like to see a more consistent trajectory with the housing industry this coming year, and hopefully lower rates will offer that ability. How about you, Doug?
Well, yeah, I mean, consistency is something I think we're all looking forward to, kind of getting to that point where it's a little more even, a little more easier to anticipate what's going to happen. Because, which we might touch on a little bit later, I think what buyers and sellers are looking for is a little bit more consistency and understanding, so they feel better about making a decision, a little bit less uncertainty. So I really hope that, that is one thing everybody's looking for as far as the housing industry is. We're on the hunt for a little bit more consistency going into 2026 too. I sure hope we get that. Let's lock something in. This can be any topic, any genre, anything. What's a prediction that you want to stand behind for 2026? Doesn't have to be sports, doesn't have to be real estate. It could be literally be anything. You've got your option to cherry pick from anything. So go for it. I want you to lock something in, something that you're dead set that is going to happen this year.
I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to lose weight in 2026.
All right.
I got on the scale this morning,
good.
and I got on the scale this morning and I almost fell through the wall. I was like, this is just not good. So that is something that's going to happen. I don't know, Doug. That's one of my primary goals personally, just health-wise. I'm 43 years old. I'll be 44 in March. And, I made some good adjustments with other areas as far as health is concerned this year. Some things I really felt like I needed to do, not only for myself, but also for my son. I want to be around to play with my grandkids and watch him grow and develop and, all the things that life gets to offer him. I want to be there to be a part of his journey. as his father. So, for me, it's a prediction of me getting healthier, and also not being complacent this year. I think it's easy to get complacent in the sense where perhaps I'm waiting for things to come to me. I've been a little too passive in 2025. I need to be the aggressor in a polite, aggressive way, right? Like a good, not aggressive like but something that's aggressive in the sense of attacking my goals and attacking the things that I know are going to be helpful for me and my family. And that's kind of what my mindset is right now. I've been all about build, attack, grow, and get things done.
Well, that's a great strategy. I love that, and I love how kind of focused you are on, hey, I know what my goals are. I want to attack it. I've been trying to work on my health too. I got one of those scales that measure your BMI and all of those things. I'm trying to track that on a regular basis. I'd like to lose some weight too. I've tried to minimize the partaking to the weekends, to be a little bit better about that, healthier. Last week, I did an 80-hour fast. And that was an incredible thing to go through. It's only the second time I've done one that long. I did a 71-hour fast a couple of months ago. So I think I want to work that into my regular, like bi-monthly rotation to kind of give myself a reset, and then just, be more mindful about what I'm intaking so I can be helpful or more healthy. I am getting older. I'm 48, and man, if the Colts signed me, the Talking Heads would really have a field day, wouldn't they? But for what I'm going to lock in, I'm going to go sports related, just because, I like to talk about my Wolfpack. They're right here behind me. They've gotten off to kind of a tough start this year, I think more than people were anticipating. I am going to lock in because a lot of people are freaking out, which I think is silly. I'm going to lock in that they're going to make the NCAA tournament. You can book it. That's definitely going to happen. They're close
I
to
think
figuring it out.
I see that.
Yeah, that's my prediction. I like yours better, but that's what I'm going to go with for what I'm locking in for 2026. So book it. Let's keep this train moving down the line. Due diligence. So we're going to talk about real estate for a second here. Why do buyers stall right before writing an offer? What's the hesitation you see? Now, we probably have different conversations with our clients, but not necessarily. I'm interested in what you hear when people are approved. They're out there looking. You've sent them the numbers on a particular house that they feel really excited about, but something's holding them up. What are they telling you that is holding them up?
Well, part of me wants to say payment, but that's not true because we go over the payment levels at the purchase price ranges they're seeking out before they, obviously are ready to make an offer. We want to make sure that they're comfortable with their payment while you guys are out looking for that particular house. There's no point if they're not comfortable making a $3,000 payment a month, then they don't need to look for a $500,000 house, right? So you go ahead and set those expectations. I think something that I'm seeing is uncertainty, and a lot of that can come into play where, say it's like they find a house they just love, but maybe there's some things that they think inspection-wise could come up or some deficiencies that they see. And when you're putting down a bunch of money in earnest money in due diligence, and you take risk of losing that money, that can be a bit of a break stop, if you will. The pumping the brakes. But for the most part, Doug, I think when folks come to me, especially when you and I are working together, or anybody at Ocean Air Realty, any of your team, whenever we're working together, I don't see a lot of stop and go. I see mostly go once they're comfortable with the payment, once they're comfortable with the fact that you guys have given them the itinerary, you've given them the roadmap to the houses that they may want to find and things that are piquing their interest. So, for me, I don't see a lot of that going on, especially once they come to me, because we make sure they're comfortable with the payment, number one, and everything, and then they're ready to rock and roll. So at that point, it's kind of stepping on the gas. Once you get pre-qualified, get pre-approved, they're ready to make an offer, usually very quickly, as long as they found the right house, of course. I mean, there's obviously, they need to make sure they're making the right choice and all that, but that's what you guys do over there. So I don't see a lot of brake pumping going on once they come to me. If anything, once they get pre-qualified, I think it actually speeds up the process quite a bit, because once they know they can get approved, once they know they're good to go, it gets a new paint job on the whole deal. It's like, oh, wow, this is real. I can actually do this. Let's go get our house.
Well, in my perspective, and probably if you talk to other agents, they give you a similar answer. The holdup usually is the financial piece. just in making sure they're comfortable understanding what their monthly payment is and how much they're going to have to bring to closing, those out-of-pocket closing costs, so we can build that into the negotiation if we have to. That's why it's so important, I think, from an agent perspective, that we do a great job of setting those expectations up front. That's why conversation 1A is with you after we connect with them. Hey, it's time to figure this out before we step foot in a house. There's no reason to start looking at houses and go out there and fall in love with something if you're not in a position to make an offer today. Because, people will ask me, well, how long can I wait before I make a decision? Well, I can't tell you that, because somebody might have seen it 2 days ago and they needed to wait 2 days. And now they are ready. So there's no reason to start. We shouldn't be looking at houses today unless you're ready to make a decision on this house today. I'm just being honest with you, because we never know who else is coming along. I think that's why it's really important that we do a good job up front of setting expectations that this is the way the process should play out. This is what you need to do to get prepared, so you're in the best frame of mind and the best decision-making decision or situation, so you can say, hey, when I show you the comps, when we look at disclosure, when we have a good idea what's going on with the house, when I can tell you, hey, we've got some room to negotiate, or this is priced well, that we are ready to move forward. And I think beyond that, the biggest hesitation is when people get in their own head about what they think it's worth versus trusting the data that we show them, or they've got somebody else chipping in or chirping in their ear. Hey, when I bought my house 25 years ago, we were able to negotiate down. Completely different market, Dad, or whatever it was. Then trust the expert who does this, every day. And that's what I ask my clients to do. I don't make gut decisions. I try to focus on data and present it, and then we can make an educated decision. So I think most of the time when all of that is done really well and the expectations are set in advance, then you don't see that hesitation.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, let's put our old man hat on, because I love this segment, the Fix This segment, where we really get to gripe about something. Yeah, there you go. I love it. All right, Grandpa, let's go. Fix this. Notifications on their phone, on our phones. They are endless and unrelenting. How do you handle them? You just turn them all off? You turn them all on? Is your ringer on your phone? Tell me from your perspective what you're dealing with there.
Well, it depends what I'm doing, of course, but typically I leave my ringer on unless I'm in like a business meeting, in which case I turn my phone face down to where I can't see it light up, even with the ringer off, things like that. It's all about the scenario and situation that I'm in. If I'm at home, I usually have it on. The ringer on and everything, just so I can hear everything, hear where my phone's at. As many times as I lose my phone throughout the day, I said, I'm at that, you said, put your old man hat on. I didn't even have to put on a hat. I'm already an old man. I set something down, and then I spend 30 minutes looking for it, and it's right in front of me or something like that. So a lot of times what I do, Doug, I play music on my Apple Music thing, and I do it throughout the day. So that way I always know where my phone is. Very
smart.
tricky over here. Very tactful. But I love listening to music all day anyway. So as far as apps go and notifications, I mean, it's endless. I try to mute the ones that I know I don't care about at all. ESPN, I let them go, but man, they send me the most, things about teams I could care less about, or like some goofball got arrested for something. I'm like, I don't care. I just care about my teams and, that association or whatever. But yeah, it can drive you crazy if you're not careful. But in our business, Doug, I don't know about you, but I think I do. 24/7, real estate never sleeps. People need pre-qualifications. I've done pre-quals at 10, 11 o'clock at night on the weekends because people are ready to make an offer on a home and they need somebody to be there. So my phone always stays on as a result of that. I'm always attentive to it. And, I don't want to miss out on an opportunity for my clients or for our clients to buy their dream home. they're not going to be waiting on me to answer the phone. And that's my commitment every single time. So shameless plug there, old man hat, but it's just a part of it. We got to deal with what we got to deal with.
It's kind of people might think that it's kind of a curse, but I think it's a blessing that we're able to be available for people and help them make a big decision. My ringer is not on. My ringer hasn't been on in years with with very few expectations or exceptions. But it's always an arm's length away, and I'm always checking it to make sure. And if I know that I'm expecting to hear somebody, of course, I'm hyper focused on it. I always tell people that if you miss me, it's because I'm in the middle of something else, not because I ignored your call. And I always follow up with folks very quickly because it's important. As far as the notifications, yeah, I think I might have to take a dedicated half hour or something and check my settings over the next couple of weeks here, maybe in some of this calm downtime to minimize some of those, because I certainly get a lot that I don't need, but there are others that are really beneficial and helpful. So it's again, technology is great, but it can become a little bit overwhelming, especially when you get it on your bedstand or your night table at night and it keeps dinging and you think, oh my God, am I missing something important? And it's updating about, another guy from Georgia getting arrested for wrecking his car or something like that. That's not the notification I need. So I probably need to tinker with that a little bit. Well, let's keep this conversation moving into the counteroffer. So hustle culture has been a really big topic over the last several years. People having side culture or side hustles, doing multiple jobs at the same time. Statistics say this may be dying a little bit, though, as people are getting fatigued, believe it or not, from doing too many things at once. What's your take on hustle culture? You have much experience with it? I know what I do. I'm real estate all day, every day. I have no side hustles. How about what you're seeing out there?
I think I'm seeing a lot of folks try to diversify, get multiple streams of income. But one thing about hustle culture, the people that do it typically don't stop. It's almost like an addiction, if you will. And I mean that in a healthy way. Like there's healthy addictions, there's bad addictions, right? But I know for myself, like especially when I first started in the business, I was go, go, go. Nothing was going to stop me. And I was in my mid 20s when I got in mortgage. But really when I turned 30, 31, I really pumped the gas hard. And as a result, I got a lot of success out of it. A lot of business, a lot of experience. I think as I've gotten older, I've toned down a little bit, and I don't necessarily like that. I feel like it's a bit complacent. But I think when you're out hustling and you've got that drive, that instinct in you to be successful, and you put plan to action, you actually act on it, not just talking about it. It's hard to push that off to the side. Burnout wise, I mean, I get it, but at the same time, go take a vacation for a couple of days. Get an assistant that can handle file flow or whatever, or calls or whatever you need. So you can get away and take a deep breath and relax a little bit. So I don't know. I think hustle culture's here, but I also think the economy's been killed the last 3 or 4 years. It drives people out of business when you spend all your money paying taxes for them to send money overseas for nonsense. Kind of makes you say, what am I working so hard for? For the government to get 43% of my money so they can spend it on frivolous things. I mean, I have a bit of a problem with that. But at the end of the day, I also like to live a lifestyle that affords me the ability to go have freedom, if you will. I think the financial impact of what we do is freedom. It's freedom to be able to go on a trip when you want to go in the store and buy something and not be sweating it. Constantly, things like that. So, there's a balance to it, but I think hustlers are going to hustle all day, every day.
Well, I think the people who are successful in the fields that we work in have to be hustlers because nothing is guaranteed. I worked over a decade in higher ed and I had a guaranteed paycheck whether I was really that successful in what I was supposed to do that month or not. And that's a great security blanket, but it's also, a ceiling, right? The great thing about what I do now is really my prospects are unlimited, but I have to get out there and do the work or nothing is going to happen. So I appreciate that hustle aspect of what I do and what we do. I think it's a blessing to have that option. I think that's the good thing about having that motivation is it's also scary, but it's good scary because it's like, hey, I don't eat. My brother loves to say this. My brother, Brandon, he works with us. He's a real estate agent as well. He says, look, if I don't get up every day and go out there and hunt it and kill it and drag it back, I don't eat. So I have to work. I've got to get out there and hunt, and I've got to make it happen. And my hunting is finding people that I can help accomplish their goals. And there are different people that hunt in different ways. I consider myself fortunate to be in a position where my hustle can pay off. So I'm going to keep hustling. I love it. And when we say hustle, we don't mean it in that derogatory way. We mean hustle like work hard, get out there and find people who can help. So from my perspective, I don't think hustle culture is going away. I think maybe some of these opportunities or folks who are doing side hustles, I think they're, at least speaking from real estate, there are people who have multiple jobs because real estate has been tough over the last few years, and they need to supplement their income. And I understand that. I also think that real estate agents who aren't able to get to the point where they're full-time in real estate probably in the long term aren't going to stay in real estate as a sustainable future. And the same for mortgage brokers, I would assume as well. If it's not your full-time job now, it will probably, unless it's your goal to get there, is probably never going to be your full-time job. All right, that buzzer rang. Let's keep on moving. Let's get local again. Ben, I hate to do this to you. The Panthers. We talked about the Panthers last week. Ben, your optimism was through the roof. One of the most optimistic times I've ever seen you. You were excited. You got me excited. You probably got everybody at home excited. Yep. What did the Panthers do, Ben? What happened versus the Saints again?
Well, I'm sitting there thinking, oh man, this is great. After Thursday night when the Falcons beat the Bucks, we were in first place, sole first place in the division, full game up. We got the Bucks twice. Figured we beat them once, we got it covered. We should be able to take care of them at least one time. But leave it to the Panthers to absolutely screw the pooch. It's awful. It's so bad. I just the play calling at times is abysmal. You never give the ball back to the other team within 2 minutes, ever in the NFL. Even with you saw what happened with the Colts. You talked about that with Phillip Rivers.
Yep.
40 seconds was too much time. The defense is going prevent mode, and the other teams just throw the ball all over them, and they get it set up for a field goal, or they get a pass interference, spot foul, 40-yard gain without even having to catch a pass. It's awful. I think the biggest part for me that was worrisome and problematic are every time the Panthers get in a position where they should win and they have an opportunity to elevate their status as a franchise, as a team, as an organization, they blow it every single time. They had a clear path to the playoffs, home field advantage in the playoffs. If you win the division, you got home field advantage. That means I get to go watch a playoff game in the NFL, selfishly. Now, guess what? I probably won't be able to. I'm not saying they can't beat the Bucks twice. The Bucks have a lot of injuries, and they're on a downward trend, but they're going to be battling for their life. And the Panthers got to get that sense of urgency. They had, let me look and see here real quick, Doug. I know they had 103 penalty yards, 11 penalties for 103 yards. That's over the size of a football field in penalties. You can't win a football game in the NFL, professional football. You cannot win a game with those kinds of numbers. It's awful. There's no excuse for it, no discipline. And where does that start and begin? These guys are professional athletes. You got to hold yourself accountable. The other side of that part, though, the Saints did not get called for the same penalties that we did. Roughing the runner, that play where they called the 15-yarder at the end to help set up that field goal was a disgrace. Bryce Young ran the same play on the series before that. It didn't get called. And the same exact play happened. So there was inconsistencies, a lot of inconsistencies with the flags being thrown everywhere. I've never. That was one of those games that was hard to watch because there must have been 25 flags thrown. I mean, it was awful. But at the end of the day, Panthers, come on, guys. I made myself look so stupid last week. I was on here. Yeah, they're gonna get it. I believe. Keep pounding, baby. Whoa, Charlotte girl. And then I'm sitting here today like a dum-dum because they just don't get it done. So, I still have faith, but I was going to go up to Charlotte this weekend for the game, and I've just decided to go ahead and sell my ticket and be done. Driving from Wilmington, it's a 7-hour round trip, and if they get beat up there, I might have an awful ride home, and I just don't want to risk that. I would rather be in the comfort of my home if they can't beat the Bucks and just say, what the heck with it. But anyway, that's my take on it. What about you, Doug?
Well, I can't blame you for that. Yeah, I think the most frustrating thing is just, they've been rebuilding over the last several years with a new coach and everything. And every time you feel like they're ready to take that next step and elevate themselves, they just do something stupid like lose to the Saints and shoot themselves in the foot. So the good thing is that I think we can, kind of end this segment on is they're still in the driver's seat. They've got 2 games versus the Bucks. If it's going to happen, they can count on themselves to make it happen. So get out there. Hey, Panthers fans, don't stop believing. Keep pounding. They can still get there. Hang in there. Let's go. And let's start this week. Beat the Bucks this week. All right, let's move on to our final walkthrough. We're getting close to the closing time. We're not there yet. What's something you're going to make yourself stop overthinking going into 2026? We talked about decision making. We talked about calmness. What's something that you struggle with making a decision on or just overthinking that you're going to push to the side going forward?
I think overthinking for me comes from my lack of reliance upon having faith in God and asking for God's guidance. So I think that I don't think I know this year to help me with overthinking and worry or stress or whatever. It's putting it back in God's hands and saying, you know what, God, you lead the path, you light the way. I will follow and won't complain. I may ask you, hey, what's going on here? Why are we going through this valley or whatever? But just trusting in God to keep my mind at ease, because if I overthink it, then I'm automatically taking complete control as the master of the universe, right? Like I can figure this all out. Sometimes it's just above my pay grade and I have to give it to God and say, you know what? You light the path, light the way. How about you, brother?
How can you top that, man? I mean, really, that's what we should all be focused on doing. Just giving it to God, trusting in His plan. The whole overthinking really takes away from Him, right? That's the whole point of it. So stop existing in it. Stop wallowing in it. Let it go. Make your peace with whatever happened regarding the situation, and let it go and move on to the next thing. Obviously learn something from every experience. I think that's really important. We learn from our successes. We learn from our failures, but there's no reason to continue to wallow in them and exist in them. You take something from every experience and you use it to help yourself moving forward. And that's really my goal as far as, overthinking. Learn, take it, move on.
Amen.
I love it. All right, let's move on to closing time because we're here. It's almost Christmas. We're going to wrap up closing time today with a favorite Christmas memory. Now, when I think about Christmas memories, like setting the stage for this part of the conversation, I think about Clark in the attic, watching the home movies, and then, the attic door gets pulled down from underneath him. So tell me about one of your favorite Christmas memories that comes back to you.
It was funny. My 8-year-old son, Luke, and we were talking about this the other night. He's gotten on this kick where on my Apple TV device, he likes to go through all the videos and photos, right? So there's videos of old Christmases of all of us together. When I think of Christmas, I'm like you, Doug. I get nostalgic and go back to my childhood. Although I've got great Christmases with Luke as a child. Like that for me these days is better than anything I ever did. But there's one Christmas in particular that sticks out. And I remember I got up and I got a karate outfit. My parents got me a karate outfit, right? Like the white gi or whatever it's called with a black belt. I thought I was a Karate Kid at that point. You remember that Karate Kid movies were real popular?
Oh, yeah.
And also I got, so that particular Christmas, I got the karate outfit. I also got a Hot Licks guitar, which Hot Licks was the thing that would light up and it had the little square buttons and would play like do, and you just press it over and over. It made an inordinate amount of noise and you really never played a song that was listenable. But that Christmas, I also got an Ecto-1 Ghostbusters car and all the Ghostbusters figures and a proton pack, a Ghostbuster proton pack.
Yes.
That I used to take with me when we would go to haunted houses and stuff. I would take it in with me to act like I was gonna ghost bust the actors who are the Halloween people or whatever, So that proton pack went with me a lot of places. But that was a great Christmas. We used to do that every year at my grandma's house, my mom's mother, and they were just the best times. And so I have really fond memories of that growing up. Obviously, I've told you the stigma of not getting the USS flag, GI Joe aircraft carrier, still sticks with me. But that was a good close second with the proton pack, Ecto One, the karate outfit. Oh, and also a VHS copy of Ghostbusters. I got a VHS tape
Nice.
of Ghostbusters. There's still a picture of me holding it up, just cheesing, because I got that as a present. So yeah, man. How about you, Doug? What's on your top Christmas list of memories?
Well, I'm specifically going to leave out getting the USS flag just because I don't want to bring back any bad memories for you any further. One that really sticks out to me as far as gift wise was getting the Nintendo Entertainment System when it came out, and the one I had Duck Hunt. So we had the gun and we were shooting the ducks, but also had the mat where you could do the Olympic events and everything. I remember doing that in my room. That was a ton of fun. I remember every morning, we would wake up and have Christmas and Santa at our house. And then in the afternoon, we would go to my grandparents' house in Holly Ridge there and have Christmas lunch and do presents with them. And then inevitably, pretty much every time we ever went there for lunch, like after church on Sunday or something like that, falling asleep in the floor while everybody else fell asleep, in the chairs after lunch. So those memories.
Food, they call it a food coma, Doug.
That you do, yeah, a Christmas food coma at that. I think one of my best memories for Christmas with our boys is one Christmas several years ago. We woke up and told them we were taking them to Disney, and we left that day. And that was just a huge, really fun, thing to do for them. So those are really some of my favorite memories. Unfortunately, we do have some of those, some videos from those, but not the long tapes like Clark had with Aunt Bethany and everybody out in the driveway. So, but that just, I thought that was a great topic for us to revisit. And it definitely made me think of that one scene in Christmas Vacation. So thanks for sharing that memory, Ben. Love it.
Love it. Love it.
All right, guys. Well, another great, successful show. It's time for closing time. We're here at the closing table with Ben. We've been presented by our amazing sponsor, New Leaf Home Inspections, North Carolina's most trusted home inspectors. Ben, we're closed, brother. I will see you after Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, Doug.